Pete Hoekstra in the news again. Our U.S. ambassador, love this guy, this piece of shit. NORAD would have to be changed if we don't go forward with the F-35s from the U.S. By European planes have manufacturing here, create 10,000 jobs on Canadian soil, and have a more reliable Denmark, one of the things that have come up, Denmark is saying they're quite worried because they have the F-35s and they're worried half of the time these F-35s are in the garage being fixed. And they worry that the U.S. will slow roll their ability and basically shut down their F-35s. Their defense minister has stated that Canada should look for another plane, not the F-35. And this is coming from Denmark. So, this is not a thing. I guess the polls have been done. 72% of Canadians believe that we should go the way of the Griffin and we should leave the F-35s alone. They're too expensive. There's too many delays, and the U.S. can kill switch them. So the biggest threat to Canadian sovereignty right now, do you think it's China and Russia? I don't think so. So our prime minister came out asked the 100% tariffs. He states the truth. He's not a blabbering fool like we have south of the border. He said it's going to hurt American people. It's going to hurt American businesses and American people that the stuff they buy from us are all of a sudden is 92% of tariff is paid by American businesses and American consumers. So it's just going to hurt American people by putting 100% tariffs on Canada. Yes, they might order less. They might look for other avenues. It may hurt us that way and a slowdown of ordering less. But basically, they are ordering stuff from us continually, and it's going to cost more. And Mark Carney, I think now is shifting to really what's going on in the home front and about affordability. And he says this is going to hurt affordability in the U.S. It's not going to hurt affordability here in Canada. Now, he is going to announce something this week about affordability measures, GST rebates, some other things, some top-ups and things like that, I think. And then that's going to be an ongoing thing here to focus on affordability here. He has to do that. He has to look for new trading partners around the world. So it's important for him to be out there. But it's also important for him now to work on affordability issues here in Canada. Some new polling, ISPAS poll, I think it is called, polling on Alberta and Quebec. So they polled a separatist movement in Quebec and in Alberta. They found basically the same numbers in Alberta as in Quebec, and some interesting stuff. 3 in 10 Albertans would vote for independence. Same in Quebec. 3 out of 10 would vote for Quebec, but only half committed to separating. So so the polling is, you're for sure you're going to separate. Yes. Are you? Well, we're not sure we're going to. I would vote to separate. I'd have to learn more. And then there's, I really don't know. I really can't. I might not. I don't know. Basically, what's this whole thing is saying, the numbers from Quebec and from Alberta are very, very, very similar across all the questions and platforms. And when in the polling that they're asked, okay, but here's the reality of what will probably happen, X, Y, and Z, to your economy in Alberta and in Quebec, to the ownership of certain things within you think is your province will not be yours anymore because they're owned by the Crown, by Canada. So when they're given all of these things that will probably happen to them as a result of separating, all of a sudden the numbers come way down. They come way down from 3 to 1.5. So 15% of the people in Quebec and 15% of the people in Alberta, once they are given information in this poll, that certain things are going to happen as a result. It's reality. Fuck around to find out. And then they're not so sure. There's about 15% who are like, don't care, want to separate, don't care what happens, don't care what we lose, don't care about the economic hardship we're going to go through, don't care, we're going to separate. That amounts to about 15% in both Alberta and Quebec. So there's that. So the government in Canada, it seems like in Quebec, the movement defined is more about, hey, we want to serve notice to the government of Canada that we're not happy. Like that seems to be the bulk of the voters' impressions, is that we want to send a message to Ottawa. We don't really, when it push comes to shove and it really comes to, are we going to separate? No. But we want to send a message, a strong message that we're not happy. In Alberta, there's the same, but there's this feeling which comes out as we're oppressed. And that they've gotten a raw deal their entire lives. And it's funny, as somebody, my parents and my siblings, I'm the youngest of 5, and they were all born overseas and immigrated to Canada, and I was born only Canadian, natural born Canadian in my family. And so I've always thought of myself as a Canadian. I've never thought of myself as an Ontarian. However, for 1 year, I lived out Western Canada in the prairie provinces, and I was shocked that there was this. I'd never experienced it before. I'd never in my life experienced it before. I had met people growing up that were from other provinces and other places, and other Americans and people from Europe and people from other parts of Canada. Never really thought that I should have some deep resentment towards them. When I, as somebody who grew up in Ontario and moved out to Western Prairie Province, I was shocked that there was this resentment, this automatic resentment, because of where I was from. And I was the first time, and I was like, I don't understand that. I thought we were all Canadian, but apparently not. Apparently the government has, and it's not factual, because if you actually look, and the biggest thing in on TikTok, my 6 years on TikTok, is equalization. I always come back to it. When equalization, Ontario never received anything for the first, I think, 18 years of equalization. Ontario was never a province that received any money back. We all pay in equally. Alberta, we all pay in. Nobody writes a check. We all pay in, and some provinces, depending on their needs, get money back. For the first 18 years of equalization, Ontario never received anything back. And actually, when it was first conceived, Alberta was a need province. Alberta did receive money back. But there's been a switch, and somehow Alberta thinks that they've been wronged, that they're wronged. And maybe it's this tremendous marketing from the Conservative Party of Canada, the people who wrote the formula that pays out equalization, which is so ironic. Anyways, that's me rambling for a Monday morning. Have the day you deserve.